Welcome to this week's Bite-Sized Buddhism. In the last lesson, we spoke about karma and rebirth. We continue to look into karma and its fruits or effects according to Buddhism in this lesson. We shared in Lesson 7 that the idea of karma as a form of reward and retribution is considered wrong view in Buddhism. Some religions say that this reward and punishment is meted out by a higher being such as God, and this too is not the karma taught by the Buddha. Rather, karma means action or deed. Action is carried out in the mind, which then manifests in speech and body. We also shared that all good and bad deeds come with karma, including deeds with a mix of good and bad karma. In India, before the time of Greek philosophers, many thinkers, religious and non-religious, have argued whether karma has any effect on the consciousness of the person performing the action. Let's sidetrack here a little. Remember this from the lesson, how we perceive the world. We experience consciousness dependent on our sense bases. Whenever the eye sees a visual object, there is attention on what the eye sees, which causes visual or eye consciousness. So, our consciousness or awareness is divided every time it is attracted by the object of a different sense organ. We experience mundane consciousness when our awareness is divided by objects of the sense organs. Our mundane consciousness is dependent on the senses to be aware. But there also exists a full consciousness, which is not dependent or divided by the senses. This consciousness is not different from the mundane consciousness, but the experience of it is not ordinary at all, and so we call it supramundane consciousness. In Buddhism, the Buddha taught conventional truth and ultimate truth based on these two. They are same but different consciousness, and their difference lies in our experience of it. It is not easy to understand what ultimate truth is, since ultimate truth is Nirvana. Nirvana is the shore of the deathless, and also the end of karma. It cannot be described by words or understood by intellectual understanding, and that is because intellectual understanding belongs to a conventional truth. And conventional truth is dependent on the brain, which is a sense organ. But it does not mean that the intellect is not useful towards awakening. The intellect can be used to tread the gradual path known as the Dharma as taught by the Buddha, like a mountaineer treading the path to climb up a mountain. By understanding causes and effects, we can navigate the way through dangers, such as working through difficult emotions and life's dissatisfaction, to reach the top, where we see and experience Nibbana, the shore of safety and security that is free from karma. Now, let's go back to our philosophers who are arguing whether there is cause and effect on the consciousness of a person who performs an action. These were the answers discovered by the many philosophers through observations, thinking, and meditations. The fatalists believe that everything is fated, so karma has no effect, and one has to just follow the cause of God and do nothing. The materialists and annihilists believe consciousness ends with this life, so karma has no effect thereafter. It seems that they are only identified with consciousness dependent on the senses. The amoralists believe there is no cause and effect in one's actions, so they act as they please based on their moods. The atomists believe everything is eternal, so since atoms are eternal, there are no causes and effects no matter what we do. The agnostics do not believe what their senses cannot verify, so they cannot be sure of anything else besides the experience of the sense organs. In India, there were two dominant religions, the Jains and the Brahmins, who are known as the Hindus today. In both religions, there are practices or exercises one can do to tread the path to clear their karma from consciousness so that one can be merged with God. In these two schools, there is an individual and a universal God. Buddhism also teaches the end of karma, but there is no merging between an individual and God. Rather, one awakens to nirvana, also known as the deathless. The Buddha said that volition or intention is karma. Having will in mind, one acts by body, speech, and thought. In the last lesson, we shared that action or deed is performed in the mind as volition before it manifests into an action of body and speech. Every action brings about a consequence. In the action you see here, there is a consequence when the parent scolds the child. The child feels lousy and may make choices to irritate the parent more. The parent, having willed his anger, impressed in his mind the memory of the child's action that caused his anger. And this may cause anger to arise quickly in the future if he perceives that the child may again act in a similar way. So you see, every consequence impresses the mind with similar intention every time it connects something familiar happening again. This happens because of memories made by the mind. Even if the memory may be distorted, the impression has been made for the mind to act and intend as long as it perceives familiar past situations happening in the future. To look deeper into how we will our choices, our mind with its past memories project by perceiving a situation as a mental formation. We may see a good or bad situation unfolding in our mind. It doesn't really matter if the situation is good or bad. What matters is the response we make, which create consequences. Why should we be mindful of our action and the effects it carries? We should be mindful of our actions and its effects because of the mundane consciousness that experiences. What this mundane consciousness experience could be ease and happiness, or it could be pain such as stress and grief. Pain also includes jealousy, envy, anger, and all negative mental, emotional states. The experience of happiness can be said that one is in heaven, while the experience of pain can be said that one is in hell. Does knowledge of karma matter if you happen to be a materialist who believes that there is no next life? To those who believe that there is only one life and none thereafter, the Buddha said, producing good karma can help you experience heaven on earth while you are still alive. For those who believe in a rebirth, good karma can bring you pleasant experiences here on earth and a fortunate rebirth consciousness in the next life. Those who practice towards enlightenment can keep producing good karma for good rebirths till awakening to nirvana. There is a practice the Buddha taught to help us continuously practice to produce good karma that leads to nirvana. This practice is known as the Noble Eightfold Path and is represented by a wheel because there is no beginning or end till one awakens to the deathless. Also, the wheel keeps turning because your experience and understanding deepens as you keep treading the path. The Noble Eightfold Path has 3 mental groups. The first group is the wisdom group, which includes wise view and wise intention. The second mental group is morality, which includes wise speech, wise action, and wise livelihood. The third group is the concentration group, which includes wise effort, wise mindfulness, and wise concentration. In the next lesson, we will look at the morality group. Thank you for watching our lesson on Bite-Sized Buddhism. Please do not believe or disbelieve what is said here. But if the content resonates with you, please look at other Buddhist references to help you understand better. Thank you.